Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this in the world. I hope you guys are doing okay. So today I want to do some fantasy booking for Season 3. Now obviously Season 2 has not been received very well, both in the characters that have been shown to us, the Pac-Man stage, and in the overall balancing. Needless to say, Season 2 for Tekken 8 is not in a good spot right now, but I do believe we will get a Season 3. Whether or not it's our last season remains to be seen. But I wanted to do a bit of fantasy booking today to really talk about how I would go about Season 3 and what I think they could do to save Tekken 8. The only thing I won't talk about is the balancing, because we don't really know where the balance is going to go post this month and I guess June. So we'll have to see, because there could be more problems going into Season 3, there could be much less, so it could become redundant. So I'm hoping that they get their act together and they really know which direction they want to take Season 2 of Tekken 8 in. We're going to remain hopeful that the Tekken team have gotten rid of the people that were destroying Tekken and have employed some people or got people back that understand Tekken. Now one thing that I do want to talk about really quickly is Fahkumram. Fahkumram has not been positively received by the community. Now I have been reading some posts online that say that people are happy with Fahkumram, that they're really happy that they have a Thai fighter representing Muay Thai, and they really like the way Fahkumram goes about it. He wears the traditional garments for the Muay Thai and he does the traditional dancing and whatnot. And so there has been some positive feedback regarding the character. Now I prefer Fahkumram to Bruce, that's just a personal take, but I understand why people don't like this character. Now it's not so much the character, it's how the character was implemented into Tekken 7. Fahkumram is a cool character, because we all kind of agree that Baki characters are kind of cool. But the way Fahkumram was implemented to Tekken 7 couldn't have been worse, and the lasting memory of Fahkumram is that he terrorized that game in the later portion of its lifespan. And Bandai Namco and the Tekken team have made absolutely no efforts to tell us why we should like this character outside of the gameplay. If you like Fahkumram's gameplay, then maybe you don't care, but I do think in this day and age it is very important to make people understand why a character is participating in a tournament, what they're doing there, why they are attacking certain people, why they look a certain way, what their motivations are. And funnily enough, Fahkumram actually has a very cool backstory. From what I remember, I remember this off the top of my head, he's obviously a Muay Thai fighter. He was one of the youngest champions ever in Thailand, and he was struck by lightning. He overcame it. He went on to win more championships, and then as far as I'm aware, the Mishima Zaibatsu, or the G Corporation, one of them, captured his family, held them hostage, and basically said to him that, you have superhuman strength, you're going to go out there and you're going to fight for us, and if you continue fighting for us, we'll free your family. He has a just and noble reason to be fighting. He does appear to be a bad guy. Like when you look at Fahkumram, you instantly associate him with a villain, which I think is kind of cool, because he's not really a villain. He's just doing what he has to do. He's essentially a family man looking out for his wife and kids. But they've made no efforts to talk about his backstory and make people understand why he's there in the first place. Again, the lasting memory of Fahkumram is one of him just terrorizing the gameplay. But before Fahkumram comes out, we've got, what, like 2 weeks I guess before they show him up, I think, a gameplay trailer. I think the gameplay trailer should start off by talking about Fahkumram's upbringing, talking about his backstory, and making people understand why he's actually a cool character and why he should be in the Tekken franchise. He's a sympathetic monster. I think people can get behind that. I think you have something cool there, you're just not implementing it properly. If you just do a Tekken gameplay trailer and he's got all of these crazy attacks, people are going to get PTSD and flashbacks to Tekken 7. You can distract a little bit of that, and you can alleviate the fact that he is the Bruce Irvin replacement. We have seen tweets being put up by people in the Tekken community and Michael Murray liking them, alluding to the fact that Michael Murray doesn't like Bruce Irvin. He's made comments before saying that he would give one of Bruce's moves to Fahkumram.
Tekken mainstay character would you most want to see?
That one's easy for me. It's Bruce. Josie's cool and all, but I just can't stand her crying. If you guys make her stop crying, maybe Josie can stick around, but maybe Bruce can come mentor her or something, But she needs the back two if she's sticking around. Bruce's back two is like, it's an iconic Tekken move that's just been missing. Yeah, it feels great.
Maybe we'll just give Fahkumram that, maybe then, huh? No?
Let's not talk about him again. I don't think he needs to come back, but Bruce would be good.
I think it's safe to say he's probably instrumental in Bruce not coming back. And it's their game at the end of the day. If they don't want to bring Bruce back into the fold, at least make the character that's taking over his position someone that we can get behind. And you can actually do that with Fahkumram, but I think that they're being a little bit lazy about it. Now, Fahkumram aside, Season 3 is going to have 4 more new characters. I assume anyway. That's the bare minimum that we're being given. Maybe they'll give us more. So I'm working off of that framework. So because characters are always exciting, I do want to talk about what characters I would introduce into Tekken 8 Season 3 and why they are there. Again, we already know that the next character coming back for Tekken 8 is going to be a returning character. We don't know who that's going to be, so maybe it's going to be one of the people from my list. And we know there's going to be a brand new character. We don't know who it's going to be. I've heard rumors of a female Taekwondo practitioner. That remains to be seen. Personally, I think they're going to put in something so over the top and ridiculous, it's going to make everyone angry, but let's try to remain a little bit hopeful. So in Season 3, I would start off with Jimpachi Mishima. The reason I would start off with Jimpachi Mishima is that we have all of the other Mishima characters available. They're all in the Tekken game for the first time, I think, in forever. You've got Heihachi, you've got Lars, you've got Kazuya, you've got Jin, then you've got Lee, who is adopted into the family. Jun has also come back, and then of course you've got a new addition in Reina. So you've essentially got 7 people sort of surrounding the Mishima story. Asuka is there, but her story is all over the place. Like, she's also a Kazama like Jin, but we're not going to include her in this. So you've got 7 people there in the fold. You bring Jimpachi in, you've got the full roster of Mishimas and close affiliates, and then obviously you would add in some free story DLC like they did with Heihachi and try to explain why he has come back from the dead. Now, unlike the Heihachi situation, I would try to explain it in a way that makes sense. Last time that we saw Jimpachi, he was turned into dust, but we do know that Jimpachi was possessed by some sort of demonic entity. Now, it was never really told to us how powerful this demonic entity was or what it was capable of doing, so you can kind of mess with that a little bit in my opinion. And in this free DLC, I would say that the demonic entity that was attaching itself to Jimpachi's body maybe takes his spirit with him when Jimpachi passes to the other side, because obviously he was killed in Tekken 5, and by way of supernatural means, because this entity lives in the underworld, I assume, makes its way back to the surface world, again inhabiting or using Jimpachi, and it could be a story around Jimpachi fighting off this demon and also trying to restore the Mishima family because he is one of the good ones. I'm just spitballing off the top of my head. Obviously this is something that can be expanded upon a little bit, but you bring all of the Mishimas back into the fold. You have them all fighting, and this will tie into the last DLC character that I'm going to talk about in Season 3. Now, the next character I would bring in is Miguel. I'd bring in Miguel because Miguel is a unique character. He has a very unique fighting style. He's also somebody that adds layers to Jin. Tekken 8 went leaps and bounds to try and erase the damage that Jin did in Tekken 6. Jin essentially started World War 3 for the people that weren't paying attention to that story or didn't get to play it, and so Jin is not the hero that they tried to make him out to be in Tekken 8. He is a hero in some sense, but he's done a lot of bad things, and Miguel is one of those characters in the story that really brings up all of that mess that Jin caused, and it forces Jin to look at somebody directly in the face that he directly affected by killing Miguel's sister, who was, you know, getting married at the time. And so Miguel has a legit grudge against him. You know, he's not the hero that everyone thinks he is, and you can expand Miguel's story from that. You can turn him into almost a psychotic character who can't wrestle or accept the fact that the world has accepted Jin as their savior when Jin did this to his family, and then obviously it will rattle Jin's character a little bit. So you've got something a little bit fresh there to play with. And obviously, like I said, Miguel is a fan favorite, so everyone's going to be happy to see Miguel. The next character I would bring in is Michelle Chang. Now, Michelle Chang is going to be pivotal in my Season 3 because she's going to be returning for a very specific reason, and that is to set up the next character. Now, I would bring Michelle back looking very, very different. Julia is obviously much younger than her. Julia's been active in the games. Michelle is from the earlier Tekken games, and you could bring her back very grizzled, much older, give her a very unique design. One of the criticisms that Tekken 8 always gets is that the female characters look very similar. They have no blemishes on them. They have no real depth to the character models. You could do something special with Michelle because, as far as I'm aware, Michelle's supposed to be dead, or at the very least her whereabouts are unknown. I know that she was kidnapped by Heihachi, I believe, and we just don't know where she's been. So let's say that she's not dead. She's just been in a very unfavorable situation, and it was tied to Ogre. The reason that Heihachi kidnapped her, I believe in Tekken 3, is because she had some sort of item that was instrumental in dealing with Ogre. I don't know if it was a resurrection, I don't know if it was killing him, I can't remember exactly, it's been a long time. But if you go off that story, Michelle Chang escapes from wherever she is to warn people that Ancient Ogre is on his way. and he's coming to basically wipe everyone out. So you introduce Michelle Chang. She has a reason for being there. She's tied to the last character. You give her her own unique look, maybe turn her hair grey or white, make her look a bit older, give her some scars, really differentiate her from the other female characters so she doesn't just look like a doll. Obviously you've got another fighting style in there that is not in the game right now. It should be another unique character, and we haven't seen Michelle for a long time. I think even though she's similar to Julia, because she's been gone for so long, you can really spice up her moveset, make her her own thing, make her more of like a street brawler, because she's been in the trenches for so long. That way people don't feel like they're paying for Julia Chang with a skin, so it's not like reusing DLC. And again, she's tied to the upcoming DLC. And then the final would be Ancient Ogre. Now Ancient Ogre would return because all Mishimas are present, and if all the Mishimas are alive, they're more than likely fighting. And when there are high power levels or very strong fighters present, Ogre will seek them out and he'll seek to destroy them and basically take their attacks. And I would bring Ancient Ogre back into the fold because he is mentioned in Tekken 8. We see a full character model. There are stages in the game that reference Ancient Ogre. Ancient Ogre was obviously in the Netflix series, so people know who he is. Even the newer players, the people that are new to Tekken 8, they know who Ancient Ogre is. They've seen him. He is a boss character. He's a very intimidating character. Now what I would do, and this is something that I am stealing from Moonsault Slayer, he brought it up to me in a live stream one day, is I would bring Ancient Ogre in using all of the attacks of characters that are not coming back. This way you deconfirm a bunch of characters so people will just not bring them up anymore. Or maybe you generate a ton of hype for them because you're saying now like, oh, why is that character's moves and Ancient Ogre's moveset? We want that character back. Maybe a movement starts for that particular character and that drums up more sales. It's a win-win in my opinion. But you give him the moveset of characters that are not coming back. So he's not really borrowing moves from people already in the game. He's actually a fresh character, even though he's borrowing moves from characters of the past. You bring him into the fold. Again, I would give him a small free DLC story update where he's interacting with the Mishimas, and you basically display this Ancient Ogre to be an absolute beast. Like, he is much more powerful than what we've seen before. So much so that even with Heihachi, Jimpachi, Kazuya, Reina, Lars, Jin, and Lee all present, all members of the Mishima family present, and even Junda if you want to throw her in there, none of them can beat him. And this could set up an interesting dynamic for Tekken going forward, where the Mishimas are kind of forced to join teams. They kind of have to team up now. They're normally at each other's necks, but now they have to team up to take on this threat, because not only is Ancient Ogre back, but he can obviously turn into the True Ogre form. Now, I don't know if you want to make True Ogre accessible by popping heat. That's another story. I don't really want to get into gameplay too much because that could cause balancing issues. That's maybe a discussion for another day. But that is how I would look at the roadmap for Season 3. Again, it's very important that you give characters reasons for being there and backstories, and you make them sympathetic or you make people hate them. You just build some sort of relationship between the player and the character. Mortal Kombat has been great at doing this. We have reasons for hating certain characters, we have reasons for liking certain characters, and I think Tekken has done a pretty decent job of this, but I don't think they're doing as good of a job as they could be. And there's still time to right their wrongs. I do think the character trailers need to be more than just showcasing the gameplay. Of course, the gameplay is the most important part because that's what we're going to be stuck with for the majority of the time, but giving people a reason to like the character is very important. You can change a character's entire perception with a bit of narrative. You can make Bakuran a horrible, nasty guy that does nasty things, or you can release a trailer where he looks like a horrible, nasty guy that does nasty things, but actually he's got a wife and kids and he's got a reason for doing this. And then you have certain players go, hey, do you know what? I quite like that. I want to use that character. At least that's how I look at a lot of characters. I'll look at their backstory and I'll say, all right, I'm in. I want to play this character. Now, characters aside, like I've said, Tekken 8 is lacking in some areas. We've spoken about Team Battle, we've spoken about Tournament, we've spoken about League. In the recent Tekken 8 Season 2 trailers, we've seen some things being updated for the game that I don't think are going to be good longevity-wise. Karate Kid thing, I don't know if there's like some sort of like payment that is there from the Karate Kid people for advertising it in Tekken. I don't know what it is, but if Bandai Namco has any sense, they will invest in the characters, they will invest in expanding their modes online, and they will obviously invest in the balancing. I think a restructuring of how Tekken 8 basically is in its interface and moving a lot of things online and making them more accessible is going to be good for the game. But essentially, you want your roadmap to look like something that is following a line, like we're getting to a natural conclusion, and then if there is a Season 4, now we've set up an anchor for Season 4, so when you drop trailers for the game, it's not just a character trailer. It's like, okay, the Mishimas, they were all against each other, but Ancient Ogre has now taken up the reins. He's the top dog. They all need to team up. That will get people invested. One thing Mortal Kombat is excellent at doing, even though they don't always have a good payoff, is they're excellent at getting you invested. I can bet you everything in my bank account, Mortal Kombat will drop a trailer and everyone will be like, okay, I'm interested. Where's the story going here? Because they're giving us something to work with there. Well, we don't know why particular people are fighting. We don't know why Raiden is saying that Earth is in danger. We're working towards something. Tekken's not done a good job with that when introducing DLC characters. They did a decent job with Lydia, Heihachi and Eddie because they were all sort of wrapped up into one story, but it's not really been anything to write home about, and I feel like they could do a bit more. So that's how I would lay it out. I think getting people invested in these characters and picking characters that we haven't seen for a long time. We haven't seen Jimpachi since Tag 2. He's a very popular character. We haven't seen Michelle for a very, very long time, since the early Tekken games. We haven't seen Miguel since Tekken 7. He's a very popular character. And of course, Ancient Ogre is a boss character that everybody knows, and he's been referenced multiple times. So that's how I would lay it out. You start with Jimpachi. You start off with a bang. You throw the whole Mishima story into flux, because now the granddaddy Mishima is back. He's pissed. There's a demon involved. It's not the devil gene, but it's some sort of demonic entity. But he's also a good guy, so that throws the dynamic into flux a little bit more. You bring back Miguel because he throws Jin's dynamic into flux. You bring Michelle Chang into it because she can add something new to the story of a whole new dynamic, a different personality, differentiate her from Julia, and help set up for the last DLC character, which is Ancient Ogre, who is the new boss character, or a returning boss character, who sends the already messy Mishima story into an even bigger mess and gives us something to look forward to in Tekken 8 Season 4 if that ever happens, or Tekken 9. Let me know what you guys think about that. I'll catch you all very soon. Take care and peace.